Our tomatoes here in Stillorgan are doing really well. They're producing a lot of very large fruit. This variety is Moneymaker, and they are ripening really well. They're actually suffering a little bit with the dry environment, and you can see if you look at the leaves that the Incarcia have been doing their job. The black dots are the Incarcia eggs, the ones that were whitefly and now are the larvae of the Incarcia, and then the white ones are still the whitefly. So we've kind of kept the whitefly at bay. But it's interesting to see here in Stillorgan that the tomatoes have had a very dry air environment despite the weather outside, and I think part of it is because of Stillorgan in general is a drier environment. It's an urban environment, but also the size of the greenhouse and the dry earth around has kept the area dry and also quite warm. Whereas you'll see in a little while my own tomatoes back in Kildare, North Kildare, have gotten really badly affected by blight, potato blight. And I've had to take drastic action. You'll see that coming up. Only issues we've had here are whitefly secreting a substance, honeydew substance, which produces a sticky surface, and then a black mold grows on it. But the Incarcia, even though we got a little bit late with them, the parasitic wasp, definitely slowed down the march of the whitefly, and it means that the plants and the fruit particularly have grown fairly well unhindered, and we're getting a really good crop. It's the 23rd of August, and these tomatoes have a serious amount of blight. The last few weeks have been really humid, and it's not suited the tomatoes at all. We're also very close to the blight resistant Sarpo tomatoes, which got blight as well, because the weather this year has been extremely humid, very damp for the last few weeks. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is to strip off all of the leaves of all of these plants. It won't save them, but it might just give my tomatoes a chance to ripen for a while. Don't particularly want to pick off tomatoes here that are not ripe. I want to get as many as I can from them. So that's what I'm going to do. On the other hand, the peppers have kind of done really well, considering we don't tend to get very good peppers normally here. So here's the tomatoes without leaves. I've stripped every single leaf off them, and I've taken, oh, I forgot this bit. Anyway, I'll get back to it. So I suppose I've done this for a couple of reasons. Blight likes stagnant air, and I have the vent open, I have the door open, but if the dampness, if the air outside is damper than in here, then really the vents being open is not going to do a lot of it's not going to help a lot. So I suppose what I'm trying to do is, number one, get some sunlight to the green tomatoes by having removed the leaves. I'm trying to slow down the blight by removing most of the blighted leaves. And in truth, every single wound here is going to have blight spores sitting on it now, because there are blight spores in the air from removing the leaves. But if there's more air circulation around the plants, then that has to be a good thing, that it'll slow down the blight. Blight can kind of sit on tomatoes for a while. If the sun is quite strong and the weather's quite dry, it doesn't advance. But I know at the moment, because the weather is so damp, it will advance, and it will work its way into these. But I suppose I'm buying myself some time here, so we can get some sort of a crop off these plants, particularly these beef ones, which are going to take quite a bit of heat and light to go red. I noticed this about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, outside my gate, and I think I mentioned a few weeks ago that ash dieback hadn't come to North Kildare yet, but I think this is it. And it's, ironically or bizarrely, it's almost kind of turned up my gate first of all, because I haven't seen it anywhere else in this whole vicinity. It's like as if it's knocking on the door or ringing on the bell to say, I've arrived. And what worries me is the beautiful tree, the specimen of ash that I have in my garden, and another beautiful one coming on here, and 99% of the landscape around here in North Kildare is ash, Fraxinus excelsior. So this is the first I've seen, and then just today, earlier on today, walking along here, I noticed some more of it, and I think this is it too. And I can't help but think that the damp, humid weather, which promotes blight, is doing the same for the ash dieback in allowing it to travel through the air, sadly from locality to locality. So it's a sad time, to be honest, because a huge amount of the hedgerow around here and most of the mature trees around this area, I think, are ash. There are some sycamore, there's one in the distance there, some oak, but mostly ash. And I think that's probably the case through a lot of Ireland, that the ash is one of the most common trees around, and the ash dieback is going to take it from us, leaving us with lots of dead trees all over the countryside. nearly there.